I'm not building walls, I'm building bridges to greatness. Demanding excellence, no time for complacence. Act right or act out, the choice is always clear. My presence is my power, my standards draw the line here. This is the elevation protocol. Rising above the chaos, taking control. My values not negotiable, my worth is my law. Surrounding myself with excellence, that's what I saw. I'm not building walls, I'm building bridges to greatness. Demanding excellence, no time for complacence. Act right or act out, the choice is always clear. My presence is my power, my standards draw the line here. This is the elevation protocol. Rising above the chaos, taking control. My values not negotiable, my worth is my law. Surrounding myself with excellence, that's what I saw. This is the elevation protocol. Rising above the chaos, taking control. My values not negotiable, my worth is my law. Surrounding myself with excellence, that's what I saw. I'm not building walls, I'm building bridges to greatness. Demanding excellence, no time for complacence. Act right or act out, the choice is always clear. My presence is my power, my standards draw the line here. I'm not building walls, I'm building bridges to greatness. Demanding excellence, no time for complacence. Act right or act out, the choice is always clear. My presence is my power, my standards draw the line here. Bridges to greatness, demanding excellence, no time for complacence. Act right or act out, the choice is always clear. My presence is my power, my standards draw the line here. I'm not building walls, I'm building bridges to greatness. Demanding excellence, no time for complacence. Act right or act out, the choice is always clear. My presence is my power, my standards draw the line here. I'm not building walls, I'm building bridges to greatness. Demanding excellence, no time for complacence. Act right or act out, the choice is always clear. My presence is my power, my standards draw the line here. My standards draw the line here. My standards draw the line here. I'm not building walls.
There it is. How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to this and that. I'm your host Xander, where we're talking about this, that, and everything in between. Um, we had us a pretty thick conversation yesterday. Um, woo, and I had double checked earlier today, and they have still not made any headway on that 2 week ceasefire situation. Now, one of the funny things is about a 2 week ceasefire is that it's not like they brought the troops back home. They gave them 2 weeks for the troops to rest, recover, refuel, reload, and then get back out there and kick some ass. So, if in the event that these folks don't find a way to meet in the middle, wherever U.S. troops are setting up the second wave, that's where all hell gonna break loose. Because while you mend the sick and the injured and everything to that effect, the guaranteed second wave is gonna get closer. Now, 2 weeks to send a whole bunch of troops over there, that's a lot of time, right? Now, DHS is still shut down. TSA has got what 55% of the people are calling out now. So they had ordered the furlough people to start coming to work to cover the spread. So the essential workers are not the only ones on the clock, but there isn't payroll going around. So we know that when you get to the airport, you're looking at 5 hour delays. So you got to pay attention to your travels. If you want to catch your flight on time, you can't get there 1 or 2 hours before the plane take off no more. You're 3 or 4 hours, 5 hours time, especially in places like Texas and New York. You're gonna have to get there a long time before just to get through the security checks so that you can get on your plane. If you luck up and get like the last flight of the night, and you can get there before dinner and catch that flight where there's less people in the airport, or first flight in the morning, where you can wait until the next flight, where your flight gets delayed half a day. And either way, you're gonna have to expect longer travel times. Now, here on this, we do not let the sun rise without going live, but we don't always start on time. We're about 20 minutes late today, so we ask you guys to like and subscribe, hit those notification buttons, and then mash those reaction buttons so that you can show the algorithm support for the channel. We're live 7 nights a week. Typically, when there's a lot of things happening, there's a lot of updates. We give you guys updates at the top of the hour, and we don't want you guys to miss it. However, after that, we get into the meat and potatoes of the show of the day. Now, we have a different show every day. On Sundays, we talk about questions and comments from the fans. You guys have questions about you. We give you guys the information that you need to help you guys make yourselves better. Then on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays about business and politics, where Monday, we discuss how politics negatively impacts your ability to make, save, and invest money. Then today, Tuesday, we talk about different ways to make money, save money, invest money, budget your money. Today, we're actually going to be talking about how to protect your career from AI-driven advancements. So we're going to be discussing like what can you do to prevent yourself from being replaced on the job while still being an asset to the company. Um, After that, on Wednesdays, we talk about different countries around the world that we can invest in and potentially go live in at affordable rates. We also discuss, even in the midst of the current political conflict, areas you probably should avoid because of the political conflicts. Now, the ups and downs of that is that while when the day the show went live, we were covering certain things that were in the moment relevant due to the current geopolitical positions. It turns out that after the fact, the geopolitical situation may resolve itself, and then it might become more. But right now, it's a no-fly zone over to Iran. It's a no-fly zone to a lot of different places that's close to Iran. The Middle East is not as good as it could be in certain areas, and you have to make sure that as an American, that is going to the citizen with the visa could become the target of a demonstration from the locals. So you got to be careful where you go, which means that you have to look at your travel warnings. Now, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, after we finish talking about all of that, we talk about different ways for self improvement, self development, relationship topics, negotiations, socialization, building your brand. And we start talking about, we did it a couple of weeks ago, talking about your promotions, raises, retirement, your severance packages. And then we get into discussing your 20-year or 30-year plan, because no matter where you are and no matter what you're looking into, you will find yourself in a situation where you will have more opportunity cost uh, benefits if you gauge where you want to be versus where you are, and find alternative ways to reach those goals. So, with your 30-year plan, you know where you want to be at in life. And you might have one way to get there, but there's more than one way to get there. And where there's a will, there's always a way. There's more doors, there's more opportunities. It requires you to look into things and note things and then be notified by other individuals that have ideas for things. Typically, what we have is when somebody has a lot of information that they're sharing, that we usually find a naysayer somewhere that likes to dive in and try to discredit the person because of how many degrees do you got to have to tell somebody that something's not good, you know, enough for you to do your own research and verify that it's not good. Like how many degrees is a person supposed to have in order to be able to know what's okay and what's not okay, right? Now, for me to talk about it, I just have to have enough knowledge to know that from my perspective, this isn't good. Now, for you to listen to it, you just have to have the availability to listen to it. Now, for you to take action on it, you have to get more knowledge than the information that you got from me in order for you to verify that this is something that'll benefit you, right? Some things are trial and error. Some things are investments based on knowledge, but never are you taking action on a whim. Never are you just taking action on the word of a third person. You're taking that. You're going to get it from verified sources. When you buy into products these days, when you invest in things these days, typically the Google reviews have become a widespread thing. Google reviews, Yelp reviews, which is peer reviewed opinions online. Some of them are bought, but if you're looking at the 3-star, 2-star, 1-star comments where people are giving negative responses about the product or my it's a good product, but it has its flaws. It's a bad product. Because everybody who bought the product gave their opinion of the product. Now, everybody who gave their opinion of the product, that they don't have to have degrees at all to tell you that they didn't like it. They didn't like customer service. They didn't like the shipping time. They didn't like this. They didn't like that. They didn't like the other. There's no scenario where a person has to be Einstein to be able to be respected to have their own worldviews. So we try to talk to you guys to give you guys different ways to change how you approach life, and then you take action on what you've heard by doing your own research first and foremost. That's the first thing you do. So once you hear it from me, common knowledge is only common because everybody's talking about it. People stop talking about knowledge because we've got the internet. Then when somebody doesn't want to hear what you have to say, they devalue you for getting it from the internet. But the difference between getting it from the internet and getting it from the library is the source of the information. Now, does that make it any less valuable? No, it doesn't. If you did the best research that you could do on the internet and you got a certain quantity of information that allows you to make a certain type of decision, from that point, you start taking action based on what you found out. And everybody else can go and do their own research. But every public library is limited. Every courthouse library is also limited, and the information in that specific physical library is based off of the information in that region, which means that you would have to go to multiple different libraries in person and check out a bunch of different books to do the same thing that you would accomplish from getting it off the internet. Now, if you read a few thousand books, they might have a little bit more value towards your opinion, but reading a few thousand books doesn't make you any more credible about your opinion than getting it off of 50 or 75 different websites. But you have to do what you know is right in order to improve yourself, which means that you have to find a way and then ask questions. But you don't know what questions to ask if you don't have any information. So here we are, we're the core source of information, and that's what we try to do here. So today, as I told you, we're going to get into this about this technology. And I'm going to tell you, believe it or not, by 2030, our working world is going to look profoundly different. And that's why I gave y'all a lot of detail about this before we get started. And I know that you may have heard the start of artificial intelligence could automate tasks equivalent to 300 million full-time jobs. And a lot of different companies, fast food restaurants and everything started replacing human workers with machines already last year, right? So let that sink in for a minute. 300 million jobs can be replaced by AI. There's 386 million Americans, but AI can replace almost 80 or 90% of us. It's so big, it's easy to feel like a little bit of dread to hear it. And it feels like we're all standing on a coastline, watching a tidal wave on the horizon form, knowing that it is not going to matter if it will hit, but when it will hit. The headlines are screaming about a mass unemployment and a future where human work isn't valued. And that fear isn't completely understandable. We're all asking the same quiet question: is AI coming for my job, for my future? Which is one of the first reasons why I started talking to you guys in the first place about how to build a revolving income that you can rely on that doesn't require you to show up somewhere and get paid. Because when your average day-to-day brick and mortar job replaces your position with a machine, you should still have income coming in from somewhere else. Speaking of, before we get deep into this, special shout out to Steven. Steven, I read your comments. You said that you had just got your account set up, and I know it's a long time. You got 5 days. It took me 2 weeks. I had funneled the money over, and then I had to wait for a while, and then after I waited, because what happened was first they do the test send, and it usually takes 3 to 5 days. It might show up within the first 2 days that they see that those two transactions of a penny or more, 1 to 3 cents, and then they disappear off of your account. So you got to keep checking back every afternoon and see if it's there, and then log back into the account and put those amounts in. But then after that, when you wire transfer some money, it actually takes a while for the money to come over. And then when it takes a while for the money to come over, so it might take another 5 or 7 days for the money to come over, but then you can start investing. Now, the longer you have the account, the more you use the account, the more times you transfer money to that account without any interruptions, the account starts advancing you the money that they're going to take out of your account, which allows you to invest without delay. So instead of it being like a 3 to 5 or 7 day turnaround after you start doing it regularly, they're like, oh, yeah, he's good for it. I'm going to front him the $500 that he's about to put in there because he's always come through with the transaction. So we're not going to make him wait. We're not going to stall him out. Right now, in doing that, you're able to invest. But if you're investing, like you told me, you said you were investing every week in something somewhere. When you start, uploading money to the brokerage account every week, whatever percentage that you do, you're going to find yourself in a position to see that growth happening so much quicker, especially if you got like 17 different stocks that you're trying to invest in. And if you're going to buy one stock at a time and put your $50 on each one, or buy one stock at a time and put your $10 in each one, and then just up them all at the same time, you can do that. What I would typically do is, and this is just my observation of it, because your real estate investment trusts are operating at 20%, I would invest, because you got three different ones that are doing it. I would invest 30% into each one of the REITs. And then since they're monthly payers, I would take the dividends out, and I would disperse the dividends from the REITs into all of the other portfolios. Regardless of how good or bad the REITs are doing, I will always take the dividends from the REITs and redistribute them amongst the other uh, uh, portfolios, which would allow for um, more effective investments. Now, you got to go back and look at the site a lot better, because I know I wanted to take a look at if I can do individual drips or if I have to do drip all the way across. Uh, but if you could do individual drips, the the ones that are not REITs, you can do drips on, and the one that is REITs, you can not do drips on. That way you can take your dividends and redistribute it. But the ones that are doing drips, they can just automatically redistribute, and then you're just taking your three major guys and redirecting your capital to the minor guys, getting your growth while enjoying the explosion of wealth from the REITs while the market is volatile. Then when the market starts stabilizing and your 20% goes down to 17 or 18 or 15%, the growth stocks will grow bigger and then you will have a better portfolio. And like you were telling me, you were trying to pay off your car quick no matter how much money you put on your car. Yeah, you'll pay for it faster, but I mean, as long as you're paying more than the monthly payments, if you take all the money you were putting on your credit cards and instead of dumping it on your car note to pay your car off quicker, if you dumped it into your brokerage account, I told you in the comment section, look at your opportunity costs. What is your interest rates looking like for your car note? It's like 12%, 10%, 8%. That's the loss in interest. Look at the opportunity cost for investing in a brokerage account. What is the interest rates that you're hitting right now? If you're investing right now into the 20% ones and you're looking at getting back that 20% return on those investments for the REITs, the profits from the REITs will offset the loss in the car loans. Then I also told you on the in the comment section to go and take a look at um, tax deductions from loans, car loans, mortgages, whatever else that you pay for from your individuals that would give you a tax blanket on investment property from not investment property, investment capital, where you're getting profits from your brokerage account because the tax blanket that you get from paying off loans will make it more beneficial to turn a profit on your brokerage account because the profit that you get from your brokerage account is tax exempt, and then the debt that you pay on your loan is going to pay off your car. The other thing is that if you build your brokerage account up enough, you'll find yourself in a position where you can borrow against your brokerage account to pay off your car. You can also find yourself in a position where if you have enough money lying around, then your bank might give you a loan that could give you a better loan than the loan that you currently have on your car, which is called refinancing. Especially if you've got a credit union that you had for like 6 or 8 months, you could refinance your car. And I didn't think about that in the comment section. Now that I'm thinking about it, actually, I tell you now, if you've had your car for 2 or 3 years and you've got a 5 or 7 year car loan on it, refinancing the car at the current remaining balance based on its current value, you could get cheaper monthly payments on your car. You could still pay the high payments that you were paying, but the lower mandatory requirement would allow you to pay your car off faster because it'll be more towards the principal, less towards the interest. And most people get their car insurance through their car dealer, which if their car dealer has a bank, your loan is going through your car dealer's bank. If you go through your own personal bank or your own personal credit union, then you might get cheaper interest rates on your car, especially since you're refinancing the car and leveraging the car as collateral towards the loan. Long as your car is in good condition and doesn't have a bunch of high miles on it, odds are you can make it work. But if you got like a 20-year-old car that you got from a buy here, pay here kind of thing, and the buy here pay here is not going to boost your credit score or anything like that. You can just pay them what you owe them and just leave it be. Now, yes, you can think about the interest rates over time and the number of payments you're going to pay for the car versus the ability to pay it off quicker. But if you also pay attention to the fact that if you got you a buy here pay here car from a like $5,000 or $7,000 car and you're making payments for 2 or 3 years, just make those payments because all the extra money because if you're paying like $200 $300 a month on a used car from a buy here pay here, that's not going to hurt your credit one way or another. As long as you're making the minimum amount, you can take that extra three four $500 a month that you was trying to mass do things and put it on your brokerage account and see massive growth in a shorter period of time. And even at some point you might say, well, I'm gonna sell while the market's high and take some of my brokerage and pay off my you can do some stuff like that. I wouldn't. I would just pay it off with the dividends or, lump sum that bitch off of the tax return money. One of the two, because if you don't, if you're getting $25,000 worth of deductions from your tax return and you put that $25,000 up into the brokerage account and then you take the 15% off of that, that's going to be what, 3 grand. You just throw that on or reinvest it and take the 3 grand you would have put in a brokerage account and put it straight on the car one way or another. There's always a way to rebalance your whole life where you can pay down debt and build wealth at the same time. And then once you pay down the non-profitable debt, then you can start building on everything else. Michael says pay cash. Well, Michael, before someone gets started with a car loan, I would tell them pay cash. But logic dictates after somebody has already gotten into a car loan, they've been into the car loan 6 months, a year, something like that. Then they stumble onto the podcast. Now's not the time to say, just only pay cash, bro. At the end of the day, now that you're in a finance agreement, let's get that finance agreement taken care of. And then in the future, the only time you go to get a car is when you're capable of paying cash for it. But I do agree with you, Michael. It is fiscally more convenient for you to pay cash for the car than it is to finance the car. So if I was talking to somebody who was deciding right now whether or not they should finance themselves a new car or lease a new car, I would tell them lease it if you can't afford to buy it cash up front. And I would also then tell them lease it under the business so that it can be a business expense that is a tax deduction if you can't buy the car cash up front. But if you can't lease it under the business because you don't have one established and you don't have enough money to buy it cash up front, don't look at that car. That's when I would tell them to follow Michael's advice and potentially go and find you a really good car in a really good condition from an auction or a very used buy cash here kind of $5,000 or $10,000 cash up front kind of car. From somewhere, six to $8,000 at a go to an estate sale because they sell cars at estate sale too. Go to an estate sale, get one. Goodwill sells cars. You can go get you a used car from over there, cash up front, $3,000 to $5,000. Because if you're getting you a daily driver that's not a beater upper, you know what I mean. You just want to put your money in a place to get something that's reliable, something that doesn't have like 12 check engine lights on it when you're driving it. You know, uh, leasing is called fleecing. Um, well, it's kind of like a finance, but see the difference is with leasing is that leasing is going to cover all the repairs on the car. You're not fixing shit because it ain't your car. It's like a long-term rental contract. You don't own it. You have legal responsibility for it. You have possession of the item, so it's technically yours legally, but it isn't yours um, because you're borrowing it from somebody else under contract. You got to return it and preferably in good condition. So if you lease the car, they're going to fix it. And a lot of the stuff that happens to the car is potentially going to be covered outside of maybe some regular maintenance, oil changes, tires, stuff like that. But like if something breaks, you bring it back to the dealership and they fix it. If it starts having to be brought back to the dealership too many times, you just bring it back to the dealership and leave it. And then all of a sudden, the car is you can just replace it with another car. But if you've leased a car with the dealership for a while, you have a good payment history with that dealership, which means that you're going to be more qualified if you wanted to finance something. But one of the wealthy people advices that the millionaire mindset gives us is that you're only supposed to buy something that you have 5 times more capital on hand than. So if you want a $20,000 car, you should have like 100 grand sitting somewhere, and it should only pay for it cash up front. So if you want a $20,000 car and you only got $5,000, you should probably go and get you a $5,000 car. But I was just telling Steven, it's that since he's trying to pay off his car right now. Joel had paid off his truck. I was telling Steven, if you're doing a buy here, pay here thing, you might they don't even report to the three major credit agencies very often. So unless you don't pay. So if you just pay on time, it's probably not going to show up on your credit report. And as a result, it doesn't matter. You just pay what they tell you to pay, and then take all the extra money that you have and put it into your brokerage account and get profits off of that. Because in that scenario, by it being in-house financing, they just tack the premium on the fact that you're paying notes. They didn't borrow the money from somewhere. So, is all new cars leased will cost more in the long run. Just buy a junker. Well, fair enough. Okay, I wouldn't say buy a junker, but I would say buy a car in very good condition that is extremely old with pretty moderate to high mileage. Something more than 50,000 miles, maybe something over 100,000 miles that's in really good condition. And I'm not talking about visual condition, I'm talking about mechanical condition. So it might have some rust on it. It might have a couple dents on the sides, but the engine is in peak condition. The transmission's in excellent condition. No check engine lights. AC runs cold. Heater works. The tires are just about new. The brakes just got replaced. Brand new rotors, like mechanical good condition. That is because a car with yeah, find a granny's car, but a old person's car that's garage kept, not very many miles on it, just sits around collecting dust. You get one of those, change the oil on it, get in it and drive. That's a good one to get. But if you're just gonna go out and go buy you a used car, you want to buy one that looks ugly but runs fantastic, right? A little bit of rust here and there, maybe came from up north, with the salt and shit. But that son of a bitch get up and go. That's what you want to get because the visual aspect of the car is where the price comes from, not the performance. So if it looks good and it runs like shit, it's expensive. But if it runs good and it looks like shit, it's cheap. So you want to get one with a few dents on it. You want to get one with a few dents, a couple scratches on it, you know, a little bit of rust. But like Mater from Cars, that bitch will get up and go. That's what you want to get. That's how you find value because you're getting a car that's reliable. You're not getting a car that's attractive, right? So back to our AI topic for the day, because I took us down a different rabbit hole because I was responding to some of the comments from Steven before the show. I was just giving some heads up while we were here. Um, as it pertains to the AI topic, I got to ask you guys, what if the 300 million jobs that can be replaced by AI is only half of the story? What if the narrative of mass unemployment is just the loudest, the most accurate information that you can find? The very same disruption causing all this anxiety is also creating entirely new landscapes of opportunity. The rules and roles and careers that didn't exist back in the day, just a couple years ago, now becoming a thing. The story isn't just about what's being lost, it's about what's being built. So, for the next hour or so, we're going to go deeper into the headlines. And we won't just talk about the jobs at risk. We're going to dissect why they are at risk, right down to the specific tasks. Then we're going to uncover the hidden job categories uh, that were experiencing demand explosions. So things that used to not be in demand that are highly in demand right now. Most importantly, we're going to lay out a practical roadmap that you can use to pivot, adapt, and build a career that isn't just safe from AI, but actively supercharged by AI. And this isn't about scaring you guys, it is about giving you a strategy. So, to figure out where we're going, we have to understand the nature of the change in itself. Now, we've heard it before, and we've all been through this. The Industrial Revolution displaced weavers, but created machines and mechanics. Now, the internet eliminated armies of typists, but gave birth to software developers. And history has shown that automation creates as many jobs as it destroys. Michael says 170 million new jobs will be created by AI. Right, but 300 million jobs will be lost because of AI. So 130 million individuals might be looking for some work, depending on what job they have. You got to think about that. And it also depends on if the jobs that are created are going to replace the jobs that were taken. Retraining is an understatement because one of the biggest issues that we have with big business is that big business young minds. Okay, they don't. Back in the day, they wanted the young folks because they were physically stronger, more capable. You know, now they want younger people that are able to be molded, people who will follow instructions, right? Not the old folks. I've been doing this 20 years. I know what I'm doing. You don't tell me what to do. I do what I know I'm supposed to do, kind of thing, right? So when you start talking about retraining, first and foremost, no old heads want to be retrained. Why you think relationships are so tough when a man is trying to date a woman over the age of 30? No old heads want to be retrained. Don't nobody want to be told how to do things different than what they used to doing it. But in order for you to survive in business, that's what's going to happen. You got to learn skills that you didn't know existed. You have to learn trades that you used to never feel valuable. And then you have to apply them in day to day operations so that when you start getting paid for that, that you're in regular occurrence with it. But I got to tell you guys, in modern era, times are different. It's going to feel a lot different because it is. Previous waves of automation targeted human muscle. Tractors replaced the physical labor of a farmer. Assembly lines, automated repetitive manufacturing. AI is going to be different. For the first time, we've built a technology that automates cognitive tasks, meaning thought process. It's not coming for your arms, it's coming for the routine parts of your brain. And it's the one thing to build a machine that can lift a heavy box. It's a whole nother entirely thing to build one that can read a legal document, summarize its findings, write a block of code, and draft a market email. The very tasks that we thought the exclusive domain of college educated students, white collar workers were supposed to have, are now in the sights of automation. Yeah, CEU, continues education units, self learning AI, same dynamic. As individuals, we have to be continuously learning. We have to continuously retrain ourselves on things. We have to continuously train ourselves for things that we weren't exposed to. Me doing research every day gives me new knowledge to add on to my previous knowledge every day. People who come to the show and listen to me talk about these things learn things every day. And then they go and do research on what they found out from me and learn even more things every day. Before me, we didn't learn shit on the internet. We just got entertained and turned our brains off. So when a machine, a self learning machine, starts being utilized on a regular basis, and it's going to be utilized by millions, if not billions of people, that machine is going to retain way more knowledge than the average human brain, which means it's going to be way more effective in time. And it's going to be a continuously learning machine. More high school grads are getting jobs over college educated people. Not lying. A lot of people go to college, they fresh out of high school, 17, 18, 19, go to college and sit in college for another 8 years, get out of college, and then struggle to find a job where they get a job that does not support the degree that they went to college for. A lot of times, the base standard for the job is that you have to have some type of accreditation from a college. But you might get a degree in education and then find yourself in a middle management job in uh you don't need an accounting degree, you just need a bachelor's degree. If you have an accounting degree, that'd be better, but you just need a bachelor's degree. You might have a degree in law and be the manager of a McDonald's. I mean, yeah, you can talk about the legality of the slip and fall that happened in the lobby, but really, you could have easily worked on a job for 15 years and got that promotion. When you put 8 years into a college and then you went and got the job. So a lot of high school students are going to walk out of at 17, 18, 19 years old with ambition go find a job carrying themselves correctly before they devalue themselves with poor adult decisions and then find themselves getting that job because old heads respect the grind mentality, put them in there and give them the real world training that they need to move up in the company without ever having to go to college because college does not teach real world application. College teaches book smarts, the history of why things were, not how to do it today. There are trade schools and there are trade programs where you can learn how to do stuff in school, but the majority of degrees are not part of that. Nursing degree, the largest majority of your bachelor's degree in nursing got shit to do with sticking a needle in somebody's arm. It doesn't, nowhere in there does the test tell you how to find the vein. That you can learn how to do the math to calculate how many milliliters of a drug you're supposed to give somebody based on their body mass, but that's it. How to do your job and not rip the vein open and have them bleeding all over the place. You don't learn that until you go to the trade portion of things. So really, you could have went to the hospital with the willingness to learn, shadowed somebody from 15 to 19. You could have followed your auntie to work, learn how to do the job, went in there, did it, never went to college and do it better than somebody who came out of college after 8 years of college because college does not teach you how to function on the job. College teach you how to have an inflated ego. College was about networking. College was about networking. That's what college is about. College isn't about learning things, right? It's about networking. It's about who you know. So when you go to Harvard, Yale, and Princeton, it's about the alumni who also went to Harvard, Yale, and Princeton. Now, because you came out of Harvard, Yale, or Princeton, when you go to that CEO board meeting, the hiring CEO went to Harvard, Yale, or Princeton. So, since they're an alumni, you're an alumni because y'all went to the same school. That's why you got hired, not because you had a bachelor's degree in the field of their company, but because you graduated from the same college that they graduated from. That's what college was for, success by association, not based on real world application. Okay. So ultimately, 2 or 3 degrees, you can have 2 or 3 degrees and you could be a brilliant individual and not use that degree for shit. My 3 degrees, microbiology, communication and health, and computer technology, not working in this podcast right now. None of the things that I do does any of those degrees work in. Two of them are involved in medicine. One of them can be in communications, which I guess could be utilized for this podcast. But communications, that's going to be what? The boardroom of a hospital, not as a doctor, not as a nurse. Technology degree helps me use the laptop. He said licensed nurse 9 months. Right, but you're going to do 8 to 9 months before that bachelor's degree in nursing and then go do 9 months in the official nursing program because it's all about them getting the money, right? That's what I told you. I deferred my student loans indefinitely. I was like, fuck that shit. I ain't even gonna worry about it. And 65,000 I've been sitting there so damn long. They've been doing $0 payments for 15 years. They're gonna do them $0 payments for another 15 years. I ain't never gonna reach out to them. They never gonna call my card. I ain't never gonna. It was deferred indefinitely with the first lender. So every other lender that buys that account, it's in their files deferred. And then since they don't have my information because my information has changed since the loan was first originally established, they don't even have a way to reach out to say, "Hey, I'm your new lender. Pay me money on this debt." And as long as it's in good standing, that motherfucker can run for 40 years. I don't give a fuck. Raise my credit score, my credit limits to above the student loan level and have my debt to income go down by raising credit. You get me $70,000 worth of credit cards. I don't have to worry about the student loans. You know what I mean? People don't think about these things. They're like, shit, how do I get rid of? You don't. They ain't fucking $0 payments with no questions asked. Don't fuck with them. I'm not gonna call them and say, "Oh man, I'm gonna try to." No, I ain't gonna call them. That's that old saying, staple that shit to my credit. What I got like 23 student loans sitting there. Mm-mm. Now, look about this AI thing. According to a report from Goldman Sachs, up to two-thirds of all jobs in the United States and in Europe are exposed to some degree of AI automation. But here's the most important nuance in the entire conversation: exposed does not mean eliminated. Other analysis from firms like McKinsey suggest that by 2030, it's more likely 30% of work activities, not the entire jobs, that could be automated. So this isn't a story of human versus machines just yet. We haven't reached the matrix, or Skynet hasn't been officially launched yet. It's a story of tasks being reshuffled, forcing jobs to evolve. Simple tasks that get automated, which forces the humans in those roles to specialize in more complex, higher volume work, requires you to actually show you have value outside of this machine's capabilities. So the question is no longer, will AI take my job? The real question you need to ask is, which tasks in my job will AI take? And what will I do with the time and mental energy that frees up as a result of this? Now, the answer to that will define your career for the next decade. So let's get brutally honest. To build a strategy, you first need a clear eyed view of the threat. Who is actually the highest risk? It's not a job title, it's about the work itself. AI, as it is today, is a master of recognizing and replicating patterns. AI is going to love rules, data, and predictability. Any job that's mostly routine work, predictable tasks, is standing in the path of this storm. First and foremost, fast food restaurants, repetitive meal making, they're going to get replaced. You already see the little kiosks in a lot of the fast food restaurants where the cashier has been replaced. The only thing that stopped self checkout at Walmart was the dishonest individuals that found a way to bypass the self checkout machines, right? But if they could have, if humans were honest, especially broke humans, if broke humans were honest, self checkout would have replaced all of the cashiers because humans would cash themselves out. That's the crazy part, right? So we can group these vulnerable roles into four categories, which I call the four horsemen of AI job displacement. So if any of these jobs apply to you, make sure that you start making some changes in the way you do what you do and potentially even where you work. So the first horseman is going to be routine office and administrative support. This is the most obvious frontier for disruption. Think about the core of many back office roles: data entry, scheduling, transcribing notes, filing documents, generating standard reports. These tasks are the essential but time consuming glue holding organizations together. But they are also highly structured and repetitive, where an AI like ChatGTP can now draft internal emails, summarize long documents, and manage complex schedules without getting tired or making a typo. Templates, where when we're doing even with legal work, Um, a lawyer's job is more plagiarism than anything because the case file, the way it was filed the last time, the way the motion was structured the last time, is supposed to be structured the same way or similar to that again, where the only thing you change are the intricate details. So a draft of a case file will have the same heading, different case number, different plaintiffs and defendants, a title, then the starting paragraph is going to look similar for every case that's the same. The only details that are going to change is the exclusive case law that's applied to the opening paragraph and whether or not the person has a lawyer or not. So ChatGPT can draft certain things specifically because it is a copy and paste behavior. Michael says, boycott places with kiosks. You know what? I ain't even gonna lie, bro. I look at them kiosks and I walk straight up to the register and I stand there. I walked in at the like, oh, there's a kiosk over there, but I want to talk to a real person. They tell me, oh well, the front counter's closed. Oh, and then I just walk right out the building because I'm with you on that, bro. I'm like, I want to talk to a real person. When I go to the grocery store, no lie, we honest to God go to the Walmart and we look for a human being and we pull the cart up to a human being. We do not go to self checkout. We don't do it at all. We go straight to a real person and let them do it, right? Go to Publix. They're gonna walk up to the car and put the shit in the car. Like whatever human task that this job originally was designed for, I am going to demand that that task be done by a human, or I'm going somewhere else. I'm with you on that because that's the only way that you're gonna keep humans employed. For every human customer that is only willing to do the transaction with a human, that is going to be the precedent of the market that will force humans to be there. When you get on the call, when you're calling a customer service scenario, and every time the AI solves your problem, they remove people from the call center. So each time you force the automated system to put you through to a real person, you find yourself in a position where they have to employ real people because enough customers want to talk to a real person still. You know, I'm kidding. Your AI operator. Push one for deposits, push two to review your account. Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. And they say push five to speak to a representative. Five. We do need human interactions with other humans. But social distancing uh, from COVID became a byproduct of a mandatory way of life now due to the separation of human interaction from social media and AI integration into that social distancing has now become a mandatory form of corporate explosion in profits and wealth. They have found a way to reduce the labor cost and increase the workload by integrating AI technology into the workload. So now you don't have to do more work. You have a machine next to you doing most of the work, and you can do whatever it is that you do. And I can pay less people to get more stuff done without having to overwork the human workers. And that allows for a company to double, triple, quadruple their performance. So if an AI platform can replace 200,000 employees, they don't have to replace those 200,000 employees. They can add for each program that does that a program that actually gives them an extra 200,000 employees that can produce way more stuff. Now they're getting twice as much work done for less cost because the program can run after the employees clock out and go home. The program can run on the weekends. The program can run on the holidays. The programs can run overnight while the building is closed. So now, is there any work to do when you get back to work in the morning? Is the question. The World Economic Forums notes that clerical and secretarial roles are among the most exposed. with millions of positions expected to decline globally. It's not that the work vanishes altogether, it is that the efficiency skyrockets. One person with an AI assistant can now do the work of a whole team. Now, that might mean that if they have a limited quantity of work in the company, that they may lay off the majority of the team and keep the most productive workers on staff and a few extras to alternate so that they can give day offs and sick days and stuff to that effect. But if you have a 50-man crew and an AI that can do the job of 100, they may downsize that 50-man crew down to a 20-man crew, right? And potentially get the work of like 300 out of that. That's the dynamic. The second horseman is going to be scriptable customer facing work, automated machines. And the second at risk category is going to include any role that relies on a predictable script. This hits large parts of customer service industry because the call center agencies, telemarketers, and even some frontline cashiers think about the average call to a customer support agent. Most inquiries fall into a handful of buckets: password resets, order status, basic troubleshooting. Large language models can now handle those first line interactions instantly and be 24/7. We're already seeing companies aggressively deploy chatbots and AI voice agents as the first point of contact in the company. All phone companies do that. Every website has an AI chatbot that you communicate with that you have to repetitively challenge in order for it to redirect you to a human agent. The human agents who remain are now escalation points for complex, emotional, or unusual problems the AI can't solve, which means that from the AI, you have to escalate it to the first line of human interaction before you can escalate it to the supervisor. It's just a third level of bullshit you got to deal with before the manager can resolve your situation. The job of a customer service agent is shifting from script follower to expert problem solver, even though they don't really know how to effectively do that in some industries. The third horseman is going to be the routine, production, and logistics individuals. And this is going to bring us back to physical labor, but with an intelligent twist. Because for years, robots have automated repetitive tasks on assembly lines. The revolution now is the fusion of robotics with advanced AI, especially computer vision. An AI powered robot can identify and sort objects, navigate a dynamic warehouse, and perform quality control with superhuman accuracy, like you see at Amazon. Amazon's fulfillment centers are a primary example where robots bring goods to human workers for final packaging. The human role isn't eliminated yet, but it becomes more specialized. According to MIT research, the remaining jobs often narrow into two areas: high skill troubleshooting of the automated systems themselves, or handling the unique problems the robots cannot manage yet. The fourth horseman: template, knowledge, work. And this is the one that sends a shiver down the spine of the modern knowledge worker. For the first time, AI is targeting the entry level grunt work that has long been the training ground for junior professionals in law, marketing, journalism, and software development. A junior paralegal spends hours summarizing case law, tasks an AI can do in minutes. A junior copywriters writes dozens of social media posts from a template. An LLM can generate 100 in the time it takes a drink of coffee to be made. The danger here is going to be twofold. First, it automates the entry point. Research has shown that job postings for roles highly exposed to generative AI initially saw a noticeable drop after ChatGPT launched. If the first rung of the ladder is swayed off, how does anyone start climbing the ladder? The second, it removes the training process. That grunt work was where you learned the fundamentals. We now risk creating a generation of professionals who know how to prompt an AI but lack the deep knowledge to critically evaluate its output to be able to be sure that the AI did a good job. We're now just 100% codependent on the AI. Beyond these four categories, there are more subtle risks most people are going to be missing. Now, the first is what I call the automation efficiency trap. Let's say you embrace AI and automate 50% of your work. You expect a promotion, but what the organization sees is a department that can now run with a few less people, far less people. You risk automating yourself into irrelevance if you don't evolve into a new function. The second is a mid tier swap because before AI, you had low, average, and high performers. AI raises the floor, turning a B grade work into an A minus work. This is dangerous for the average performer because good enough is now the baseline. The real differentiator becomes the star performer who uses AI to invent entirely new ways of creating value versus the individual who can utilize AI to mainstream repetitive performance from the old days before AI existed. So, where do you stand in this? It's going to be time for a personal audit. Grab a piece of paper or just do this in your head for the next 60 seconds. Think about your last work week. List the top 5 to 7 most time consuming tasks that you perform. While you get them, I want to make sure that you guys like and subscribe and hit those notification. I mean, well, yeah, hit the notification button, but also mash the reaction buttons along the way. We want to get a lot of people in here paying attention to this. Now, for each task, label it as either routine or judgment, right? A routine task is predictable. It's work you could do while listening to this podcast. Examples such as compiling a standard report, answering the same customer question repetitively, processing invoices. A judgment task is unpredictable. It requires critical thinking, creativity, strategy, or emotional intelligence. Examples of this is going to be negotiating a tricky contract, designing a new marketing strategy, or mentoring a team member, and even handling unexpected crises. Oh, he said, working in a plastic shop. Oh, yeah, you can automate the fuck out of that. But what you can't do is automate repricing the product, right? Because the algorithm would have to have a program that shows that a product that's been on the shelf for a certain period of time has to get a specific price reduction. But that is going to be dependent upon the season. That's going to be dependent upon sales schedules, which is not something that the initial AI is going to be programmed to get because as soon as the company gets it, it's going to be programmed to put labels on shit. Now, when the boss says reduce the price of aisle four, you go down to aisle four and manually reduce the price. But the machine will put everything on the shelf where it's supposed to go. The difference is that your job is strategically different than the machine's job. The machine's job is to just do the standard. The human job is to do the unique, customizable, exclusive task. So, if you got to be honest with yourself, what's the ratio of your job? Is it 80% routine, 20% judgment, 50-50? If your list is heavy on routine tasks, that's a flashing red warning light. It means a significant part of what you're paid to do is on a collision course with automation. Good news is you've just completed the most critical step, which is awareness. You can't make change unless you know change is needed. So let's build you a strategy. Since we've gone through the uncomfortable truths, I tell you guys all the time, if you're finding stuff valuable, you want to do me a favor, you want to hit that subscription button, mash those reaction buttons, because we're about to pivot from the problem to the solution. And every day we have a problem, we always come with a solution. The jobs of the future, the skills that matter, and what you can do starting today. You won't want to miss this stuff. Pay attention. Let's start shifting gears because we started into the abyss of uh, how AI is taking over everything, right? But now let's turn on some lights and step away from the abyss real quick because the same force causing this disruption is also a massive engine for job creation within your job. And here's where it gets interesting. The World Economic Forum's from 2023 Future of Jobs reports projects that while technology and other trends might displace around 83 million roles by 2027, which is this time next year, they are also expected to create about 69 million new ones. Now, Michael just showed how recent reports showed that AI was supposed to create 170 million jobs, and I showed you that at the top of the hour, there was a projection of about 300 million jobs being replaced by AI performance. Now, that's going to be a net loss no matter which one you're looking at. With these projections from 2023, net loss is 14 million jobs on paper. With what we talked about with Michael's findings of 170 million created versus 300 million being lost, you're looking at um, upward of 130 million jobs lost on paper. But it hides the real story. It's a massive reshuffle. This isn't a mass unemployment. It's a mass transition from old work to new work. The winners will be those who see this coming. So, where is this hidden job boom happening? It's concentrated in three key areas. First, the technology, data, and AI sector itself, because this is going to be why more than just AI engineers is necessary. We're building a new technological foundation for society, which requires a huge ecosystem of new roles. You want to think about jobs around the AI, not what the AI does. So we need AI safety specialists to ensure that these systems align with the human's values. We need AI ethics, prompt engineers, and AI integration managers to help companies adapt these tools to what we expect from human workers. And we desperately need AI auditors to check the work of AIs to make sure that the work is accurate to the expectations of performance. All right. These are careers that barely existed a few years ago and are now aiming to be among the fastest growing on the market. So your job might not be to draft the documents anymore. AI is doing it. Your job is to proofread it to make sure that there's no mistakes and then edit it if there are, right? That still means you have value. While AI automates routine tasks, it increases the value of what is deeply human: empathy, trust, and care, and unique unorthodox involvement. No one wants a life altering diagnosis from a chatbot. You want a doctor who shows compassion. And AI can analyze an MRI with incredible accuracy, acting as a diagnostic co pilot and freeing up the doctor to spend more time on patient care and strategy. We will need more doctors, nurses, and therapists, not fewer doctors, nurses, and therapists, right? But instead of the doctors, nurses, and therapists spending so much time trying to diagnose the patient, because when we go to the hospital right now, most doctor's appointments, we spend 15 minutes in the waiting room, sometimes 30 minutes in the waiting room. Then we might get our vitals checked. Then we spend 15, 20 minutes either in the room by ourselves or in the room with a family member or friend who came with us to the doctor, hanging out. Then the doctor comes into the room. They're going to spend 10 to 15 minutes with us. And then either they're going to recommend that we run some tests or they're going to give us an observation and send us to the front desk. The whole appointment might take an hour, it might take 2 hours, but the quantity of time that we spent with the actual doctor, 15 minutes, 20 if you have a lot of questions. The doctor would spend more time with the patient if the doctor spent less time diagnosing the patient, right? Similarly, in education, AI can be a personalized tutor, but it can't replace a teacher's role as a mentor and source of inspiration. So while an AI can teach you how to do mathematical equations, an AI cannot help you understand why you don't understand the equipment, the problems, the work that's being done, motivating you to keep trying, finding alternative measures that you understand that you can retain because there might be 7 ways to solve this math problem and you might remember one. The AI can do all of them, and the AI can expect you to do all of them. But a teacher or tutor might show you to focus your works exclusively on the things that you can remember so that you can be more effective at succeeding. Because again, school is not about learning how to work. School is about re- a trivial retention of information, right? Which ultimately means that out of 100 questions, the more questions you answer correctly, the higher your grade point average will be. The questions you know that you don't know the answer to, skip those and spend more time on the questions you do know the answer to. Then go back and try the questions that you knew you didn't know from the beginning of the test. The more questions that you answer towards the end of the test increases your ability to succeed. If you were able to answer 80 questions correctly, you got an 80. If the other 20 questions you guessed on, there's a high probability you might get 5 or 7 more correct, which boosts your grade from an 80 to a 90 or an 80 to an 85. If you got stuck on a handful of questions and then you ran out of time, all the questions you didn't answer were guaranteedly wrong, where you might have would have got a 75 because you were only able to finish 3 quarters of the test because you got stuck on some of the questions. And the questions that you got stuck on, you got wrong too. And AI is not going to be able to help you do that. They're not going to help you understand that. The teacher's job is going to shift from being the sage on the stage to the guide on the side, your cheerleader in the classroom, right? Third, the green economy and physical infrastructure. Here's an ironic twist. This purely digital technology is driving a massive boom in very physical real world jobs. AI runs on servers, and these servers have huge data farms, big data centers that consume enormous amounts of electricity, right? But this creates a surge in demand for people to build and maintain this new infrastructure. So we need engineers to construct data centers and energy analysis to power them with sustainable energy. The push for green energy isn't just environmental, it's a core requirement for the AI revolution. An AI can help design a more efficient wind turbine, but it can't climb 300 feet in the air to fix one. The great reshuffle is a shift away from predictable execution and towards dynamic judgment. human connection, and the physical world. So, how do you actually make yourself AI augmented? Comes down to four pillars that you need to start building today. And you're going to see a lot of these going into the membership soon as well. Pillar number, oh, I did put some things into the membership just the other day because I gave you the information about the shoes, and then there was something else that I had just threw in there earlier today, and I can't remember exactly what it was about, but I threw something in there earlier today that was directly related to something that we were talking about in yesterday's show. It was just that quick. Oh, matter of fact, let me see if I can find it. Jeez. But yesterday we was talking about something, and I said, you know what? Let me put this in the membership. And I was um hold on. That says the gentleman's guide to essential footwear. What was the other one that I was looking at? Uh, yeah, I think that was it. Yeah, so I gave you so the shoe thing. So we were talking about what kind of shoes to look at, and I actually went and pieced that together, and I gave you a laundry list of styles and designs and why to get them. I didn't give you a list of where to get them from because it depends on what city and state that you're in. But since we already did the shows about how to dress, oh, that's what I was gonna do. So after the shoes, it's like cufflinks, rings, watches, bracelets, necklaces, lapel pin chains, and stuff to that effect. What they're used for, when to use them, how they accent the clothes. I was going to be making that list and put that in there. So that's going to go in there today because I was thinking about it earlier today and I was like, I'm going to put it together. So I didn't, but I said I would. And I'm telling you I'm doing it and that's going to go in there later today. So um, see that in the membership. Now, the first pillar we're going to start talking about here is doubling down on uniquely human skills, which means that this is stuff that AI cannot do. So if a routine task is being automated, your advantage lies in what is uniquely human. High context communication and persuasion. An AI can write a sales pitch, but it can't read the room in a tense negotiation or inspire a discouraged team member. Advanced critical thinking and judgment. An AI is great at generating answers, but bad at asking the right questions. Your job is to be the human filter to the questions that the AI's output and to make the final calls. So you want to know something. ChatGTP, you can ask ChatGTP a question, but ChatGTP is going to give you an answer to the question. If you don't put the right question in there, it's not going to give you the right answer. Just like what I tell students, a calculator is not going to give you the right answer. A calculator will give you an answer to the information you type into the calculator. So you have to know that the information you're typing in the calculator is correct so that the calculator can give you the correct response. You can't just type into the calculator what's the answer to question number one. You have to type the information into the calculator. And that's the same thing that's happening with an AI. Even an AI that scans a document, it's going to scan a document and then it's going to produce a result. Now, you have to tell the AI to produce a specific result catering to a specific scenario with a specific outcome expected. That's where human interaction is going to be the filter. Creativity and synthesis. True creativity is connecting different ideas in a new way. It's the shower thought that links the problem in your department to a solution you overheard from a totally different industry. A shower thought means that you are presenting to everybody else the visual of a problem that you thought about from a different location to resolve something that's going on right now in this location. Another thing is going to be relationship building and empathy, which I keep telling everybody start building more relationships, more human relationships with more individuals. Building a network mentoring junior employees, and fostering a positive team culture are utterly immune to automation. The new guys that follow your instructions and respect you as a person are going to be the foothold of the company. As the old guys retire, you become one of the old guys. All the new guys that are coming in prefer for you to be there over somebody else. You now have the popular vote to not be replaced by AI, right? If employee of the month is selected by popular opinion, if everybody likes who you are, you're going to be popularly selected. The morale of the team is a job that AI can never cover, right? Pillar number two, become an AI augmented, not AI replaced individual. The winning strategy is to treat AI like an incredibly powerful intern, not replacing what you do, right? You need to become a master at delegating tasks to the AI system. You want to get your hands dirty though. Master the tools of your trade, whether that's Chat GTP for writing, Mid Journey for design, or Copilot for coding. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's a software called Perplexity that works way better than Chat GTP, right? Just saying. There's Jasper AI as well for people who are writing long quantities of scripts, but Perplexity really researches the internet and gets you way more. But that's something that's coming straight out of Asia. That's not something that's like, oh, it's a American base. That's why everybody knows about ChatGPT, right? So you got to know which AI is most effective for which product, and then utilize that AI to mainstream certain portions of your occupation. But with the extra free time that you have, you are supposed to utilize that free time to create critical thinking moments in your job that allows you to handle more critical situations that AI uh doesn't give you the ability to do. Is the one coming out as AI better? That's a good question, Stephen. No, no, patronism here. If you look at all the documents that I've produced for you, ask yourself, were they well written? I was able to do my research. I was able to organize the information. And then I was able to utilize the exact software that I told you about from Asia to make it look better. If you look at the documents that I produced, I am a fantastically knowledgeable information guru. I am a sage in it, but I still said AI will help me get this done faster. In order for me to go through 8 to 10 hours worth of research and then 4 to 7 hours worth of organizing data and script writing for it every day of the week, a new script. That's this one's 61 pages. Yesterday was 84 pages. The one before that was 122 pages. That AI platform aids me in creating my day-to-day scripts. So if all the information that you're getting from me is very concise, very informed, very to the minute of facts that you can get directly off of the internet, I didn't get that from ChatGTP. I got that from the Asian platform. ChatGTP would have pissed me off, bro. I would have had to pay for the membership to get half the quality, and it's going to be better than Google search. And reason being is because there are no ads. It's going to organize the internet for you. Can I drop the link to it in the book? Yeah, I can drop the link to the. I don't even know why I didn't drop the link to it. I think I might have dropped the link to it in the membership once before, a long time ago, and I just forgot about it. I'll put it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do it right now so that I don't forget. Uh, grab it right now and throw it clean into the membership. Where the membership at? Oh, over here, off to the left, and that way it'll be a hyperlink that you can utilize to go straight to the platform And then, matter of fact, I got you specifically, my guy. I'm gonna do you an extra justice. Where is? Hold on. Everything stopped moving for a second. Gotta get the and wait. It dropped down. Uh, let's see if we can get. I was trying to. It didn't allow me to do what I wanted to do there, but I got it over here. Look, I didn't accidentally subscribe to your platform, my guy. And what I was trying to get. I was trying to get you the information exclusively, but it didn't let me do it. It didn't let me send you a private message. That's okay. We gonna get there. We gonna get there. Right there into the who's straight into the membership. Boom. Uh, Bill E. X. Let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna specifically tell you better than than ChatGTP. That way you know. And I've been using this one for a long time. I've been using this probably 2 years now, as a matter of fact. And I got it from one of my Asian clients because I don't remember what I was trying to get myself into with him, but I was doing some research for some stuff, and I had to deal with the high end cost of Jasper AI, and then um my client told me, he's like, oh yeah, look at this one, and I was like, what? Let me look at that, and then I looked into it, and I was like, oh, dope. It organizes everything, and the more you use it, the more it focuses directly on what you're trying to do. So keep in mind, I'm searching millions of topics a year, like all over the place, and everything from education, business, finance, politics, world, everything. And this thing is like spitting out information on a daily basis. And they have improved the product so much over the past 6 months to the fact that I can literally take a paragraph off of a document and be like, explain this, and boom, it'll give me everything. Right? It's a fantastic thing. I just threw it in the membership for you. Now, here is going to be a challenge for you guys. The 30-day AI augmentation challenge. Over the next month, you want to pick 3 to 5 of your most time consuming routine tasks. Your challenge is to use AI to automate or streamline at least 50% of the time that you spend on those routines. At the end of the 30 days, you will have a powerful story for your next performance review. I used AI to build a workflow that cut our reporting time by 80%, freeing up the team for strategy analysis, right? That's a line that gets you hired. That's a line item that can get you promoted, right? Pillar number 3, you want to build a scarce, stackable skill set. The future is going to belong to those with stackable skills. And this means combining your core expertise with new portable skills, especially in technology. You are not just a marketing manager, you are a marketing manager who knows how to use and build a custom GTP for lead qualifications, right? You're not just a lawyer, you're a lawyer certified in AI driven e discovery tools. It's the domain expertise plus AI literacy formula. That's what you need. This combination is scarce, and scarcity creates value because where there is a low supply of something that is offset by a high demand comes a high value. Sometimes that high value is high capital gains. Sometimes that high value is job security. Pillar number three, you want to get close to the engine, not replaced by it. The roles around the AI need to be your daily tasks. If there's a gold rush, you want to sell the picks and shovels because you don't want to be pushed out by other people who are mass producing the gold. You want to sell the picks and shovels. When the picks and shovels are being replaced with backhoes, you want to sell the backhoes, right? One of the smartest moves is to pivot into a role that supports AI itself. Upstream roles, if you're preparing for AI, this includes jobs in data governance, data labeling, and policy creations. Mainstream roles, implementing the AI. This is going to include AI trainers, teaching other people how to use it, and changing managers who help the workforce adapt new tools to the current infrastructure. Even if you are a stocker, you know how to rotate the product. An AI has to be programmed how to rotate the product. You have to teach new employees how to rotate the product. If your job is training, training cannot come from an AI that hasn't been taught. Customized training, while standard come from a clock in, how to turn on the equipment, might come from a standard AI video, but what happens when the lights don't work? What happens when a box is not in the right place? What happens when human error is not offset by machine accuracy? Like for example, I know y'all seen a lot of those videos where this guy is going into Home Depot buying shit off the shelf for a penny. If Home Depot has AI putting stuff on the shelf, you are going to be the person that pulls stuff off the shelf that is a penny. By pulling stuff off the shelf that is a penny, you save the company millions of dollars because, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, because you are not allowing a customer to purchase an item for a penny, which allows for them to reprice it and then put it back out on the floor, right? If all your job was as a stock boy is to prevent a $100 item from being sold for a penny, instead of competing with the machine with how many products can the machine put on the shelf, how many products that are incorrectly priced can you take off of the shelf? That's not something the machine is going to look for, at least not yet. So these are the kind of skills that you can master to make your job more valuable in the midst of AI revolution. So the next time your company announces an AI pilot, you want to volunteer to be involved in that. Become the go-to expert on what the hell is going on in your company's AI advancements. Whenever they need somebody to train the employees, you want to volunteer for that too. Yeah, a lot of people demand, oh, I want an extra dollar raise, blah blah blah. If I got to teach somebody else, that's extra work on me. No, it's not. If you delegate all the mediocre stuff to the new guy, you're standing there watching the whole day while explaining to them why they have to do all the heavy lifting. At the end of the day, they have to perform, not you. You just have to make sure that they perform to the expectations of your employer, which means if you're delegating correctly, training is actually a raise in and of itself because you don't do squat. You tell somebody else what to do, which shows management material. Because if you can delegate to 5 trainees, you can delegate to a 5-man staff, which makes you a team leader. You can delegate to a 5-man staff. You can delegate to a 5 leadership staff, which now makes you shift leader. Or instead of going from team leader to shift leader, from shift leader to assistant manager, because now you're talking to 5 managers over 5 teams, which is now 30 people that you are controlling. Notice how that built up just from volunteering to show people how to do what needs to be done. Then you want to do downstream roles, which is what happens after the deployment. This is going to include AI auditors and bias checkers who constantly test the AI's output. And this is a critical function that requires a skeptical human mind. Beyond these pillars, there are some guerrilla tactics that you can use. Think of yourself as an AI landlord. Instead of just using AI and depending on it wholeheartedly, build and own small niche AI tools like custom GTPs that help local restaurants with social media, or consider the layoff to founder pipeline. Because if you get laid off with severance pay, view that check as a seed funding. Start a consultancy where you are the strategist and you use an army of AI tools to do 80% of the operational work, which then allows for you to get more stuff done with less manpower, which allows for you to retain more profits. You're going to pay the service fee for the AI, but you're going to maintain the ability to have more time, right? To embrace these strategies, you need to perform a new and more profound mind shift. You need to cultivate what Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck calls a growth mindset, the belief that your abilities can be developed. A fixed mindset sees AI as a threat. A growth mindset sees AI as an opportunity to learn and evolve. You're supposed to have a boss mentality already, where you always try to find ways to phase yourself out of the grunt work and into the delegation roles, which allows for you to utilize this information in a more effective fashion. You now, if you get out of the grunt work and you're more into the thinking roles, you now have a larger time slot to think about more ways to be more effective for yourself and more effective for your company, whether it's you're working for your own company or you're working for somebody else's company. Research shows that fostering career adaptability and a growth mindset directly reduces anxiety about AI's impact on your job, because it is actually mainstreaming your job. Adapt what I call the small boss mentality. Because if you imagine that you were fired today, could you start generating income within 90 days? The answer is no. This forces you to build portable value. Start now building skills, projects, and network that is not tied to one exclusive employer. So that transition is a lot easier. You said that you're working in a plastic shop. Depending on what kind of job that you do, getting involved in AI allows for your skill set to be transitioned into another shop. It could be transitioned to the marketing of the shop. There are situations, even in your current company, where you can start doing something that benefits the company and they will create a new role just for you, which is exclusive. So it's not like somebody else can replace you because they just created that position just for you because of what you do and how you do it. And their value of what you do and how you do it is your pay. So when you want to raise on that, you're not asking for a promotion out of a custom role. You're asking for a salary bump based on performance increases. If they want to train somebody else to do what you do for your days off, yeah, You want to expand your work capabilities by training more people to teach them how to do what you do. Some people think that by training your replacement, you're doing exactly that. You're training your replacement. But the opportunity here is by teaching other people to do what you're capable of doing, creating a whole new department. Guess what happens to you? You become the department manager. By the time you phase out of this company, what did you do? You created a whole new department for this company that increased the company's performance, saved profits, generated growth and wealth for the company, which is a huge line item on a new job. He said, I'm hoping they create a break room attendant position for me. Look, if you got a break room and you were in that break room showing other people on break how to improve their performance on the job, during your off time, during your break time, you are teaching people how to be more efficient. If employers observe that, they will see leadership mentality in you, they will see motivational mentality in you, and they will want to mainstream you into that role. But if you have the mindset, I know you're joking, but if you had a mindset of wanting to relax and hang out in the break, you would get phased out by a machine that doesn't need a break. Because Jeff Bezos bought out Digitech, mainstream Digitech, to function AI in Amazon. Amazon replaced workers. Now, Amazon workers boycotted, formed a union. Now, here's the funny thing about it. While there are AI machines, there are still human workers, but the Amazon human workers want $35 to $40 an hour. The machine costs $35 a day. 1 hour of human work constitutes 1 day of machine performance, 24 hours a day. Even if it takes three machines to do the job of one person, that's 3 hours a day worth of pay for three machines to do one person's work all day, every day, right? Now, Amazon working 24 hours a day typically has three shifts. If you're doing 40 hours, $40 an hour, 24 hours a day, because they got night shift, overnight shift, all this other shit, they would save 20 hours a day worth of pay for every three machines or four machines that they put on the floor to replace every one human that they have on the floor. The cost of saving was that $40 an hour times 20 hours is what? $800 that they save per day to replace each human. When you start talking about 200,000 humans, that's why you have to find another way. Because that 200,000, if they're saving $800 on one human, 100,000 humans, that's $8 million that they saved. You have to give them a reason to believe that you are irreplaceable in the midst of the mass recall of humans. They have got moved up some raises, but ultimately turned down a better position. I'm on my way out of here soon. Well, I mean, yeah, because I know you were going to college. You were supposed to be trying to get into psychology and everything. So you're not going to be there forever because you are working towards a new thing. But even when you get out of college and you get into the field that you want to be in, this mindset still needs to be there because the advancements of technology is going to continue while you're in college. If you get out of college 4 years from now, if you get out of college 10 years from now, technology is going to be so far advanced, even in the fields that you're trying to go into, that if you have the skill sets to operate the equipment that is going to be in the field you're going to, you're going to have more knowledge than the other people who are going into the field thinking I am going to do the work. No, you're not. The AI is going to do the work, and you have to know how to use the AI. Right? That's a completely different position. 18-year-olds are going to be AI dependent. Everybody else is cell phone dependent. Hey Siri dependent. Hey Alexa dependent. But critical thinking beyond what the device produces, that's the old school mentality. We brainstorm, they give up. So you have to show at 36 you're more valuable than an 18-year-old. That went from just an operator to running a warehouse solo. I still do that some days. I prefer the less responsibility of an operator because I can have my phone out and way less responsibility. But see, that's the thing. You want to incorporate more responsibility into job stability. Even when you move into your new career, you want to incorporate more responsibility into your new job. And the reason being is because the more stuff you're responsible for, the more stuff that they depend on a human for, which means that you have job security. Well, you have a higher level of job security. Now, if you're using AI automation for some of the things that can be automated by AI, now you have more responsibility and more ability to delegate your workload so that you're not overwhelmed by the tasks of the responsibilities. Because manual labor jobs that give you more responsibilities give you more things to do. Your body hurts, your back aches, your head hurts, you're tired, you're stressed out from all the stuff you're doing. You're sweating, you're dehydrated, you're fatigued from all the stuff you're doing. But when you're able to incorporate yourself into a more responsible role of delegation, you're watching and talking. So your back don't hurt no more. You don't have as many headaches. You're not sweating. You're not full of fatigue. You're not dehydrated because you're not doing it. You're delegating the responsibility to someone else. You are organizing who does what when, or when technology is involved, which program is doing what when. All you have to do is collect the results and turn the results into your supervisor. So even when you go into your next career, this information is still going to be valuable to you. So my supervisor offered me if I wanted the position, and my exact words were absolutely not. I was only 25 cents an hour more for almost double the work. I have done it before too, man. There's been plenty of jobs. I don't want to marry the company. I have turned down management positions because I didn't want the extra responsibility because it was more work and the same amount or not that much of an increase in pay. But when you get a promotion to a managerial position of any kind, that extra work is on your plate because you delegate it to the people that are under you. So if you were on a floor of 5 or 7 people and they put you into a manager position, and now you can put that work on somebody else, you still have all those tasks that need to be done, but for 25 cents an hour more, you're making somebody else do it for you because you are their boss. You ain't got to hire them, they're on your shift. You run this shift from the time you get here to the time you leave, and the quantity of people that are on the clock at this moment are supposed to get the job done, and you're supposed to make sure that they do it. And whatever they don't do is your responsibility. So you're supposed to follow them around, make them get off their phones, and do the damn job. That way you don't have to do it. The more you delegate, the less work you do. It took me 20 years to learn that. Now, if they tell me I'm gonna give you 25 cents an hour more to tell other people what to do, I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll take that job. In comparison to being the one getting told what to do, in comparison to being the one being told to get off my phone and pay attention on the floor. You know what I mean? I would prefer to be middle management telling everybody what to do. Where hardest part of my day is helping someone else lift the box because nobody else is there. Instead of being the one that's the only person here trying to lift this box that requires 2 or 3 people to lift the box. I have grown from I don't want that responsibility to I want that responsibility so that I can delegate it to the other people below me. Because with that new position comes new pay and comes subordinates. And that is the one thing that we always forget about the higher position, the subordinates. That's like turning yourself from a pawn to a rook every single time. You don't have to do step by step. You can slide across the board whenever you feel like it, but you let the pawns do all the hard stuff. And that's something that we don't think about. Now, finally, the last thing we want to pay attention to is you want to reframe your relationship with your jobs. You want to let AI take all the boring, repetitive, soul crushing parts of the job that makes you want to quit. Let it automate the drudgery, right? Because that's going to free you up for a lot of different things. It's going to free you to focus on the interesting, creative, and human parts of your work. If you picked up a job that gave you a promotion, gives you a 25 cent an hour raise, which then that's the baseline, and then you have the ability to get raises, you now delegating work to everybody else, you can find ways to make the job funner for the people who work for you so that they'll work harder for you so that you get more stuff done on your shift. If you increase productivity, you increase the qualification to get raises. If you're getting the work done faster, and because the work is getting done and y'all are getting paid basically by doing this much work, if they're supposed to unload 3 trucks and they unloaded 5, y'all can go home early because the job is done for the day. What did you just do? You saved the company money because you accomplished unloading all the trucks, and then you saved money on hours because you sent home all the workers that you didn't need. Instead of you being the one unloading the truck, you got the trucks unloaded faster and then saved the company money and got more stuff done. And the people who don't want to be at work all the time, they love going home early because the job is done. The only time they're going to want to stay late is when they realize I need more money. I'm getting scheduled 50 hours a week and I'm only working 30 because we're getting the job done quick, right? But then those guys that want to stay an extra 10 hours, what do you got them doing? Detailing, organization, all the stuff that was originally stuff you would have had to do as the supervisor. You don't do it no more because everything is done. This guy wants to stay on the clock. Let me give you some of the shit that I was supposed to do. I will find something for you to do. Time to lean, you got time to clean. I will find something for you to do so that you can stay on the clock. But now you're doing everything that I would have done except the paperwork, which essentially is teaching them how to be a manager. Well, what are you doing? You're getting paid to watch. And the most you got to do is draft the reports as a manager, which makes your job just that much easier. So let's go back to the question that started this whole thing. Is AI coming for your jobs? Yes, it absolutely is. It ain't the Mexicans because the Mexicans know how to dig ditches. Goddamn iRobot knows how to program the software for the machines that are filling in potholes on the freeway. All right. It's going to be coming for the routine, predictable parts of every single job in the world, not just in America. For some jobs, that's about 10% of their work. But for other jobs, it is 80% of the work. No one is immune unless you work for yourself. And even if you work for yourself, if you're contracted to a company that requires you to manually perform certain things, unless you incorporate AI into your company so that you subcontracted to them can get more stuff done for them in the same period of time for the same price, they will add that software to their company so that they can do away with you. Wherever big business can save money, you have to be a pinnacle performer. So if they need somebody who can draft 1,000 documents a day, you don't need 20 people helping you draft 1,000 documents a day. You need an AI machine that can do 1,000 documents a day for you, where you're going to proof those documents. And now you're turning in 1,000 documents a day to this company, where they would have had 50 to 100 people trying to do that. Because usually it takes 2 to 4 hours to draft one document, right? So that's how you're going to maintain your value. The world where you could have learned one skill and coasted for 40 years, that's over. But AI is not coming for you. It's not coming for your creativity. It's not coming for your judgment. It's not coming for your empathy. It can't replace your courage or your curiosity. By taking over the robotic parts of our work, it's making those human qualities more valuable than ever. Soft skills are more valuable than hard skills. The choice isn't between resisting AI and surrendering to it. The choice is between a passive victim of this change or an active architect of your future. So here's going to be your plan starting today, not next month, today. First, you want to audit your work. Take about 15 minutes and do that routine versus judgment analysis. Get a clear understanding on where you're vulnerable. Second thing you want to do is start your 30-day augmentation challenge. Pick a routine task and start experimenting. Use Perplexity like it gave you in the membership. Open up ChatGPT, whatever it is. Try a new tool. Build the muscle of augmentation. Third, dedicate 1 hour every week to developing a uniquely human skill. Take a course on negotiations, read a book on critical thinking, volunteer to mentor someone else. Because even in a warehouse, if you volunteer to teach other people about how to do better and be better, that is still a valuable skill because I trained my staff in my last job is a skill set that the new job wants. If I teach people how to do the company follow the company policies and protocols, if I enhance and improve company knowledge, if the new recruits, then that means that you learn shit and then you regurgitate it to everybody else around you, which means they don't have to train 100 people. They need to train you and have you train 100 people. Efficiency. You want intentionally to practice the skills that AI cannot touch. That way, you cannot be replaced by AI. AI needs you as much as you need AI. Y'all need a symbiotic relationship. The future of work can feel like a tidal wave, but a wave is just energy. You can either be crushed by it or you can learn to surf on it. The skills are your technique. The mindset is your balance. The future isn't something that's happening to us, it's something that we built and it is occurring around us. So we've got to let it work for us and our benefit. So if this was helpful for you guys, make sure that you share this with someone who is also trying to make sense of the new world. In our next videos, we're going to be breaking down uh, 5 specific AI powered side hustles that you can start this week with little to no coding skills. I'm probably going to be putting that up in a week or two on a Tuesday. So make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification buttons as those extra shows come out. Do not miss it. Uh, that's all I got for you guys for tonight. Um, everything is changing and it's changed. Some things are changing for the better. Not too many things are changing for the worse, but things are changing and we have to adapt to the change. So what I'm going to say about that is I'm going to say, ladies, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm going to keep asking you ladies to make it make sense. So ladies, please make it make sense. And fellas, I give you all this information to help you become higher value men because you must, as I've told you throughout tonight's show, prioritize the things that are inside of your control and change the things that you don't like, and then navigate around the things that you cannot control. This will improve your life. It'll improve your employment. It'll improve your business if you start up your own business. Ladies, while this is a male driven podcast from the male's perspective, you too can make yourself higher value women by using this information as well. Again, finding your 20 to 30-year plan, figuring out the details of it, reverse engineering how you have to get there, what all that needs to be done, and then proactively putting forth the steps to get there today allows you to then keep your eyes and ears open. Potential suitors, paying attention to their character, their personality, their determination, their drive, their motivation, their integrity. See how their 20-year plan meshes up with yours. You can find an individual that can blend with you, and the two of you can get there a whole lot faster, achieving your goals. Two people can make it to $1 million faster than one. It requires you to proactively take the steps to make yourself more successful. Now, with that being said, I want to thank you guys for coming to this and that. I'm your host, Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. And I will see you guys tomorrow night.
Higher ground. Used to chase validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt upon the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher, constantly making my own climb. Standing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command.